Hello, hello. Hey, YouTube. So I don't know if you guys noticed, but this is some new lighting. Um, I don't know. I was looking back through my old videos, and I was like, man, I don't even know who that person is. So I got a light here um, this time, so I could you can actually see my whole face. Um, and see my actual surroundings and stuff. Um, So yeah, hey YouTube, how you guys doing? I'm here to talk about, you know, I had some very surprising news about 2 or 3 days ago. I stepped on the scale for the first time, and I lost 100 pounds. It's um, it's pretty insane. I never really thought that. I'm gonna be honest with you. Before I stepped on the scale, and I have a really big problem with like even knowing my weight. Um, that's why I didn't even want to do it. I was like, I just don't want this big, huge head or whatever um, about being healthy. So the title of this video, yes, is kind of clickbait. It's clickbait because let's just be honest. The most important part of living right now, and it's not about how much you weigh. It's not, and also at the beginning of this journey, I never had the intention of losing weight, but that is inevitably what happened. So I went from 275 to 175. It was is pretty huge, pretty huge accomplishment, at least for me. I'm 6 feet tall, so one of the things that I was always paying attention to was that I'm 6 feet tall, right? A healthy weight for me is around 211 pounds. Anything above that, I am at a pre-diabetes risk, and that concerns me a lot because my family is diabetics. Okay, they diabetes, and you know, um, I thought that it was really interesting to see um, exactly what all you really have to do to maintain an actual decent weight. And I'm going to go into a little bit about this. I'm going to go into some tricks and some tips, and also about keto. That's actually mostly how I lost the weight this year, and a steady exercise regimen. Um, so I'm going to get into it after this sip of coffee. Um, so one of the things I was doing this year, my friend Brooke was on keto, and I remember I was just looking at the way she ate, and I was like, I think I could do this, but I'm gonna be honest, like, I mean, giving up bread, giving up sugar, giving up fruits, giving up juice, giving up all the sweet stuff, giving up all that stuff. The first month, especially, was extremely hard for me. I will definitely say, if you plan on doing keto, or if you want to do these diets or anything like that, I would suggest very heavily that you put yourself into a 30-day commitment. Don't stop after the first week. Don't stop after the first 3 days. You won't know how your body feels yet. Your body won't successfully start transitioning until you burn off the first set of glycogen stores. And your first set of glycogen stores that you have to deplete are the hardest because they're always used to being full. I thought it was really interesting when I seen my friend, she was like, I don't know, it was like she was always eating shrimp and eggs and like just everything eggs, and then like I don't know, like throwing some meat in there. It was just like, at first it was like I remember I seen her eat a cheeseburger one day, but it was just like some patties, some cheese, some lettuce, some tomato, some ketchup, and some mustard. It was everything but the bun. Um, and at first I was like, man, I don't know if I could do that because I want, a burger to taste like a freaking burger. Um, really what you're in your head really wanting is the bread. And let's just be honest, like you really want that bread. Um, but um, you know, I tried that first. And after I ate, I was like, well, this isn't so bad. It wasn't the worst thing in the world. So I seen it and I was like, okay, well, this actually is pretty doable. One second, there we go. It's already done. But yeah, so yeah, I was like, wow, that seems pretty easy. Seems pretty, um, at least easy for me to do, because you can still have meat, and you basically can have meat, you can have cheese. So it was really nice the way she had presented it because it was looking like an actual melty baconator, because now she doesn't eat pork, so I put bacon on mine. Had me a little baconator, and it was delicious. It was great, and I was like, well, if I could do this, especially when you have the ketchup. Now you're not supposed to have too much. You're not supposed to have ketchup because it has a lot of carbs and sugar. But I mean, come on, you're already not having bread, right? It's stepping stones, right? So I had the ketchup, I had the mustard, I had the bacon. It was some thick cut bacon. Put it in the oven, and it was delicious. It was good. I was like, man, well, why does it feel like I shouldn't, why did, at first I was like, well, why do I feel like I have to have the bread? And then the 2 weeks began. So I'm going to put the first month into two phases. And that's one, before your glycogen storage levels drop. And then two, when your glycogen storages are depleted. And it took me 2 weeks. It took a full 2 weeks of no carbs. Minimal carbs. And I didn't have my first cheat day until after the first month. And then I started to scale back because baby needs hungry. Me hungry needs hamburger sandwiches. So yes, I need sandwiches. So yes, and that is one of my favorite foods. But I got through the first 2 weeks. It was not by myself. And I'm gonna be honest with you. When you're doing something like this, it's best to find a person to help keep you accountable because it's very easy to trip up. Luckily, my friend, we were working together, so we were able to live together for that short time. And then she was just helping me, like, hey, I see you reaching for the orange sauce. I see you reaching for the sugar sauce, the honey mustard, the ketchup. You can't do that. Hey, I see you reaching for this and that and this. You need to, maybe not do that. So one of the biggest things was like you have to get over that initial, everything kind of thing. Okay, because I realized something these health and fitness people, they actually have studied about what they're doing. This is not anything new to them. Well, I mean, no, excuse me, it is something new to them, but it's actually with documented research why they do certain things. Like, I didn't adopt my friend's low lean meat portion, but she does keto with just lean meat, because on keto it shows that you can easily fall into high blood pressure and a lot of other things, because you're eating so much fat, and all that fat and those saturated fats will sit there in your bloodstream and give you high blood pressure. So that's a real big catch on keto. So you do need to be aware of the cholesterol that you're taking in. You need to be aware of the cholesterol that you're taking in, the fats that you're taking in. You're still going to be taking in a lot of fat. It's a very high fat diet, but you don't want so many like saturated fats, trans fats. So like on keto, you'll find out that you can have hot wings. Yes, you can have hot wings on keto. Now, did I say teriyaki wings? No, can't have that. That's too much sugar. Can't have barbecue wings. That's too much sugar. Any kind of sweet tasting sauce, you can't have it. But you can have hot wings. And so when I heard that, I was like, yeah, I can do this shit. I was like, yeah, I got it. Why? Because I can have hot wings. That was all I needed. I live in Georgia. I live in Atlanta, Georgia. If I can have hot wings, I can do anything. Okay. If I can have hot wings, I can jump off of buildings. I can fly through the air. I'm good. You know what I'm saying? So when I found out I could have hot wings, I was like, what? There's a hot wing diet? My brain just immediately exploded. I mean, seriously, I was completely enamored hearing the thought that I could have hot wings on a diet. I was like, oh yeah, I'm all for it now. So we started going to McDonald's, right? I mean, not McDonald's, but Walmart, and we started having those hot wings from their hotline, and then we started eating their it was a hot wings, and it was like some ranch wings. Yeah. By the way, catch them when they fresh. Go over to the hot counter. If you go on whenever you're in Walmart, go over to the hotline. They're gonna have some ranch wings. If they've been sitting, don't eat them. Okay, just be like, hey, when are you gonna drop the next batch of ranch wings? It's always a 30 to 15-minute wait. Go shop. Go get yourself some fresh ranch wings, and they will change your whole life. Change your whole life. Anyway, they was all crispy, crunchy, salty ranch wings, and I was enamored that this was okay to eat on my diet. This was getting towards the end of my first week. After further research, I did realize that ranch wings in particular do have a negotiable amount of carbs in them. Something about the ranch powder probably having flour, some other crap, but yeah. So I don't eat ranch wings as much now, but I still do eat my ranch wings. And also, you can have the buffalo sauce. The buffalo sauce has no carbs whatsoever. It's a little salty for me though. It's a little salty. If you do get there before they go and douse these wings with just salt and everything everywhere, you can catch them before they go and dump a whole bunch of stuff and be like, hey, can I get the regular wings? Can you just toss them for me? And then or you can or you can toss them at home, which is what I started to do. I got my little hot wing thing. I'm like, hey, I'll just go pick up some wings from Walmart and then make sure they're hot and quick, and then go from there. So I was I was really astounded to see that you can actually lose weight by eating meat and just eating like all of your favorite meats, basically. So um, within the first week, so my energy and mood, towards the end of the first week, my energy was at an all-time low, and there is nothing that you can do for that. I know that people say that there's like butter coffee that you can drink. It's like butter coffee with some weird ass powder that you can put in there. Um, I'm gonna be honest with you, you know, you're not gonna really get very far with that stuff. You can put as many powders, supplements into some bull, but I mean, it's not. I mean, I'm not saying that it won't work for you. It's just not in my particular wheelhouse. All I was trying to do was get healthy. I'm not trying to be fitness buff man. I'm just trying to be Jeremy. So, um, I've seen that and I was like, wow, this seems to be like a pretty cool diet. But I mean, I was really at the real edge of my seat towards the end of the week. I had noticed I had became very irritable, very, very irritable towards the end of my first week. And so because I was so self-aware of it, I started to be silent a lot. Like I was just be in smoldering and quiet anger sometimes, which ain't good. Okay, that's not healthy. Um, that's not healthy at all. So I was like, wow, this is pretty insane. So um I thought that was pretty how can I say it? It was enlightening. I had realized that after all the sugar left my system, um, that this was like an addiction. One of the things that I had started doing was watching these food tubers on YouTube, like night and day. Like I was just watching Bongi, I was watching Babish, I was watching Food Wishes, I was watching Stovetop Kisses, I was watching all kind of YouTubers, food tubers, and I would just be sitting there just like, I just want the cheese, the mac and cheese. And you know, also what's going to really trip you up is that you can't have any pasta. You can't have any pasta on keto. You realize how many carbs are in pasta, and then your brain short circuits. You're like, oh my god, I can't. Whenever you start realizing like, oh, I can't have bread because I love sandwiches, or oh, I can't have pasta because and you can't have noodles and you love noodles. That's when your brain starts to be like, you know, like, what do you mean I can't do things? So that's usually what usually takes a trip downhill. Um, so that was going on. Um, but yeah, so my first week I was really irritable, very tired, but I really there is a superpower on keto, and I don't think if you haven't really been into it, you won't get this portion right off rip, but it will start to develop. Is at first I started to feel head like my head felt light, but you get a laser like focus that you will not get anywhere else. The focus that you achieve on keto is like if you ever seen that documentary with that lady making the fake machines in the CVS's and stuff, and you know how she was just like staring at you just like this the whole time. That's kind of what you get. Like you get this laser like focus that you can just like for me, I'm a software developer. So that laser like focus is very useful for me. So I had noticed like even though I was kind of tired, like overall just kind of tired, I was able to work easier. I was able to bang out portions of code. I mean, I'm talking about like just sitting here, just reading. It was um, is something that's very useful in my work life. So even though towards the end of the week I was like really tired, the laser like focus helped me realize what my objective was, and that was to be healthy. So I continued to listen to my friend. That was the first tip and trick that I can give you on keto. Listen, listen. Stop thinking that you know everything. Just listen. Especially people in my generation, we don't take criticism very well and we don't listen very well. This key right here will help you. It will help you. If you take the time to just simply take a deep breath and realize, like, hey, like, I mean, although I'm a software developer, I know I'm not the brightest in the bunch. Like, I mean, it's just computers. I mean, for me, I had to learn that there was other things that I needed to learn. There was other skills that I needed to take on. And health and fitness isn't as clear cut or as easy to grasp as you might think. So when you have an actual person willing to deal with your angry ass and dealing with, you as an individual and trying to help you, you have to take that person's expertise into consideration. What is their expertise? They're healthy. You are not. That's where and honestly, that's where it begins and ends. You know, you might think that you don't need a partner, that you don't need these things, and I will ask you why. Why do you feel like you don't? Why do you feel like that you can be held accountable for everything, and at the same time you haven't done it already, right? There's like a reason, and it's not until you really see someone live a practical, healthy lifestyle can you finally say, okay, I think I can do this, right? Um, so losing in the first week, no, I can't give you any weight or measurements between the first of the year to now because I don't like scales. Um, I think that they give you the wrong perception of your body and also the wrong goals. Your goal is not to be this extremely thin person or this really, you're trying to be healthy. Now, no, there are some unhealthy things about keto, but you have to consider that versus the diet that put me on 275 pounds, which is no diet whatsoever, right? Now you're gonna read all these like bad things about OMB, keto, low carb, Atkins. You're gonna read all these other terrible things about these different diets that that basically low carb diets, and you're gonna read all these like terrible things that they could be doing to you on the other thing, but it's research, right? What is that compared to bread research? Have you ever actually researched what the CDC says about carbs? Um, a little plug here. I've been working on uh, a CDC accredited program where we basically took the Prevent Type 2 T2 curriculum from them and put it into an app with Healing Our Villages. That was actually an app that I just completed as soon as we closed that project. I would definitely post the link in one of my later videos. But so we did get the Prevent Type 2, excuse me. Nix that, erase that. So um, the first week of, so excuse me. So now let's go ahead and start on the second week. The second week of doing keto was even harder than the first week. Shocker, right? It took and here's the thing: once you get past this initial glycogen breakdown, it gets easier, but it takes a while for your body to adapt. Um, Now, I guess other people you'll see around the net, I guess they've gone into seizures or the brain fog, the keto flu, or whatever. I guess whatever everyone wants to call their body wanting carbs, and they are not able to consume them or have restricted their carbohydrate intake. Um, that that is your body. It's gonna take a while for your body, even probably like for me, right? And I had to put this in my perspective. I was like, you've been eating carbs for 29 years and you're suddenly stopping. You don't think your body would just be like a little shaken up by that? So yeah, that was when yeah, of course it's not gonna feel good, right? So if you've been eating carbs for 26 years of your life, if you've been eating carbs for 27 years of your life, if you've been eating carbs for blank and blank and blank years of your life, it's gonna take a while for your body to adjust. Your diet and everything before that was just not here. It wasn't where you're at right now. So, you're trying to adjust to your sugar is a at the ready resource, and it takes a while for your body to be able to adapt to just living off of fat. It does get easier. It does get easier. But the second week was actually harder than the first week. Definitely went through a few spells there where I was just asking my friend, like, does this get any better? Does this feeling of just being tired and irritable all the time, does it get any better? And she was like, yeah, it does, but it's going to take you a while. And of course, that's the same tired advice that you hear all of the time, but it's the truth. There is no silver bullet for this. Uh, it is what it is. I want you to just take a look at something. Um, the shirt that I have on, these are how big my shirts are. Well, were. And let's just take a look. This is I'm waiting to give you the size because I can't find it for some reason. Oh, I think the tag got ripped off. Well, this is a 2X. Okay. Let's take a look at some other things. This is a ooh, here's a better one. Here's my work shirt. This is a no. That's also from a different time in my life too. That was just a large. It was trying, but the way it fits is an extra large, right? Or even like let's just take this one for example. Yes, this is a 2x, right? It's just some stuff. I mean, here's the thing, right? Uh, Losing weight, um, you're not gonna like. One of the biggest expenses about losing weight is clothes, and I had realized that. Like, I was like, oh shoot, this is um, this is really huge. Like, this is uh, so this is a 2x, but I'm sorry, my phone. I'm supposed to be. I gotta get into my workday soon, so I'm probably gonna do like 30 more minutes left on this, and then I have to go get back to work. But because I do want to get into what I've learned about some things, but this is yeah, this is a 2x, and I don't know if you noticed it, but this is where I used to be. Like I'm pretty comfortable with my body now, so it's whatever. But yeah, this is where I used to be. And I don't know if you noticed, I used to have moves. I don't have those anymore. I have pretty square chest. Um, Although I do need to buff up a little bit. Like, I have been like doing sit-ups and got my weights over here beside me. But yeah, one of the biggest expenses about losing weight is your clothes. Um, I was really upset that I had to go buy new clothes. And that was actually the real reason. Well, that's the reason I kept telling myself, right? Like, I kept telling myself, like, I don't want to lose weight because I don't want to have to buy a whole new set of wardrobe, which honestly I didn't, and I still don't, and I haven't done it. I actually haven't bought a new wardrobe, so I'm just, hey, look, I mean, what's whatever. I'm trying to be I want to actually look well. Um, I want to actually look good instead of pretending to look good or buying another outfit to make you look good or whatever. I want to feel good on the inside and the outside. So, you know, I wear a medium now, right? Who would have thought that? Oh, that's my good friend Katay. She's my best friend. She just hit me up, but I'll hit her up in a little bit. But yeah, I went from a size 40 to a size 34. I wear skinny jeans now. Never thought. I just never would have thought. Not from wearing a 2X. I have certain 3Xs in here. I have, before this point, I didn't wear anything beneath an extra large. And I thought that was pretty. I don't know, when I'm looking back on it, it's pretty insane to think that I was this weight and thought that I could be, XYZ healthy. But that was that is where I'm at, and this is a testament to it. Having to buy new shirts, so now I have I guess that's a large, but let's see. I'm about to show you something else that I got in my drawer. So I was able Yeah, and this is another double X shirt that I love so much. I'm gonna show it to you because it's actually one of my favorite shirts. My girlfriend bought this for me for Christmas. But as you can see, this is my very shirt. This is my League of Legends character. If you ever want to get ripped up, so this is who I play, and I was really happy because um, it's embarrassing, but for a while here, I wasn't able to wear my favorite shirt. I had gone past the 2X territory and went into my 3X territory, thinking that I was losing weight. It's just little small things, you just don't really notice, like where you just don't really think about until the reality of your hard work and stuff just smacks you right in the face. Which is why I would just tell you not to use a scale. I wouldn't tell you to be measuring your waist or anything like that because it's going to the reality of what you do is going to come up and catch up to you. But yeah, that was really interesting. That was one of the really cool things that I can definitely attest to. So that's one thing that I wanted to talk about was keto, weight loss. Um, oh, let me finish breaking down the whole diet. So that was before the glycogen stores. Now let me tell you about the next 2 weeks. So at the end of those 2 weeks, I had a cheat day. It was like on a Wednesday. It was random as hell. And I went and I ravished. I don't even remember what my first cheat day was, but I remember just eating and eating and eating and eating and eating and eating. And me and my friend, we pigged out. And I just remember feeling so good after that cheat day, man. I felt like $1,000,000. And the day right afterwards, I felt greasy. I felt like little pieces of sand were on top of my skin, and I was like, what is all of this? Like it was just like a bunch of just like fat on the surface, and I felt like sugar. It felt sticky, like I had been rolling around in like I don't know, like something nasty. And I was like, wow, what is this? Like what is going on? So uh, after in a few days, well, I went and I worked out because, and in this point, I had a very strict exercise regimen at this point, which was I would walk, run for a lap around my neighborhood. Um, so I had a pretty stringent exercise regimen, and then combined with the diet, you just start to feel different things. So the next morning after the cheat day, we started exercising. Realized it was much easier to get through the run, much easier to get through these things because I had like keto just saps you of all of the energy that you possibly have. So I went through, um, did that. The sugar beat it up to my skin and just made me feel sticky all day long. Thought it was really interesting. Um, so that was what it kind of clicked to me that my body was storing an excess amount of sugar into my body and it was trying to evacuate the sugar in any which way it knew how. It was a wake up call for me because my parents have diabetes, both sides. One side has high blood pressure and diabetes, and the other side just has diabetes. So the least I could come out of this is just figuring out like your insulin levels, glucose levels, the blood sugar levels, and things like that. I was like, wow, this is a pretty interesting diet. So it took after that cheat day 3 more days to deplete the glycogen stores from that cheat day. And I could tell this because the first day my run was real easy. I'm talking about I had enough energy to run around the block twice. I thought I was wired. Like I had like 5 or 6 cups of coffee and I was just going ham. Uh so that was one part. I mean, it's a really interesting journey especially at the start. Um, so after that first 3 days, then my energy levels came back to where they were previously, and that's when you start to feel tired, but you start to feel like trash. Really, there's no other way to put it. You do feel like trash when you first get into it. And then I had noticed um, but I don't know if you've noticed or listened very closely. It took 2 weeks for the first glycogen stores to completely dissipate. Yes, I still had energy up till that cheat day. Well, it wasn't a lot of energy, but I could still tell that my body was burning sugar because when you're on these runs or whatever, you still feel like you have enough like energy to keep going. So that was what kind of led me to believe like you still might have carbs in your system, you still might have sugar built up around your body. And I was right. I was right. But this time during the second cheat day, my body was unforgiving. It was burning that sugar up. It was just ripping and running and burning. It was like a furnace. So it only took 3 days. Took 3 days after that, right? So then I started to feel ketosis. And let me tell you, there is nothing more, it's nothing more strange than feeling your body slip into ketosis. You can feel your overall temperature rise. You can feel your overall water. You can't stop drinking enough water. I mean, you really can't, like, because it's almost like you're trying to douse a fire, a sweaty, hot, sweaty fire all damn day. So I was like, that was I still remember that time in my life to be really, really eye-opening because I will say I was really happy I had my good friend Brooke because when you're going through that period, especially the second time around, you're not gonna want to do that anymore. You're also gonna think like there's something wrong with your body. Like you're gonna think like, oh, I'm not supposed to feel this tired. I'm not supposed to feel this way. I feel really tired and stuff all day. I don't think that is supposed to be this way. So, um, my friend was just like, hang in there. You got a ways to go. You just gotta keep on it. Just keep to it, and you'll get through it. And I was happy I listened. Again, um, very happy I listened because um, once again, I just want you to know that you don't know everything. You do not know everything. You don't. And I know you think you do, but I'm a software developer. There's still things that I need to learn. I'm pretty sure you might even be a doctor. There's still things that you can learn. So, um, just listening to her, and she was telling me that this is normal. You're gonna feel like this when you're first getting acquainted. Um, then during the third week, so this was the week after my cheat day. This is after glycogen depletion. the second time around. And so I had the first 3 days of ketosis. And then after that, my body started to adjust. But it was a very slow process. Let me not tell you that. Okay, so it was like the first week after that cheat day, you still feel that ketosis and everything. You're still feeling like trash. But then the second week, I didn't cheat that weekend. And then the second week, you start to feel your body feel better. Drinking a bunch of water. I mean, it helps. Speaking of, and just drinking a bunch of water and really helping your body, because then you realize a few other things, like your body lives off of water. If you really can't, you really absolutely need that water. If not, you will feel tired, dehydrated, and dehydration and ketosis don't go hand in hand. One will give. So that was a huge change, and yeah, that was that. So during the second week, I started drinking a lot more water. Or the second phase, I shouldn't say the second week. So this is around the third week. I drank a lot more water, kept up my exercise regimen, I kept up the diet, and then it became a cycle, right? That second week, at the very end of it, I started to realize that this is a lot easier for me to try to get through this now. I don't know why, but it was a lot easier for me to get through it. So I felt better. I felt like I could actually get through it now. So at the end of the first month, we of course had another cheat day. And it was a celebratory cheat day. Like it was like, yeah, I'm here, Like you feel, number one, it's nothing like a cheat day because it means it's a celebration to the amount of time that you have committed to. Whether it's 14 days, 21 days, or 30 days, those moments that you keep and you hold the promise to yourself, those are the most promising and rewarding moments that you can have. And after keeping that promise to myself, you don't feel guilty on a cheat day, right? You feel like you can eat anything and you can, right? It's not what you do one day, it's what you do over the course of a week. And then your brain starts realizing that, like, oh, it's just a day. Like I'm supposed to be, instead of you thinking day to day, like I'm gonna have a peanut butter and jelly sandwich this day, I'm gonna have a pasta this day or whatever, you start realizing that you plan things out by the week, not by the day. What you're doing in a day is just a buildup to what happens within this week. I don't want to tell you, I don't want to spoil the surprise for you, because if you try it or if you go into it, you will realize like there is a lot of, I don't know, there's a lot of different things about keto that will help you set up the rest of your life. And not just that, exercise. That spirit and fire that you have in your exercise is something that you will carry on through the rest of your workday, the rest of your work effort. What you put in there is how you put in your workday, and what you will put in your code, and what you will put into the rest of your life. And I know it sounds really strange, but it is. Because your brain isn't being tricked with instant gratification so much. Like I'm pretty sure my brain was used before this diet was used to getting what it wanted 3 times a day. That's not good. It's not good. It's not good doing. always seeking instant gratification, no matter what it is, whether it's just sex, whether it's just all these different things. Like you can't always be living an instant gratification lifestyle. It will ruin you, and it will ruin your health. So then you start realizing that it's not depravity. It is a conscious effort for you to get control of your life. And that was the end of the first 30 days of keto. And then the next month, I still kept up my 2-week apart cheat days. And we did that for a good 3 to 4 months. And then after that, I was like, okay, man, I need a hamburger. I need a sandwich, man. I need a sandwich. So we do them every week now. We do them every Tuesday. Every Tuesday or Monday, either around those 2 times. So that was when I had realized, like, yeah, should go from there. And now I started the beginning of my journey as a 2X. Y'all, I wear a medium. This shirt was purchased like 2 or 3 years ago. Again, like, I just want to show you one more time that this is not a joke. I am skin and bones. Who would have thought? Like, this is where I was. Like, and just take a look. Like, it doesn't even fit me at the shoulders at all. Like, it just hangs off of me. Really. Trying to show you something. One more thing, but I don't even know if I can find it. I don't know where all my shirts are. Well, I'll use this one. Yeah. In other words, I gotta get some more shirts. Well, now I can go through a bunch of old clothes that I was wanting to wear, and I couldn't. And this was like one of them that I really liked, but I just couldn't get into. But I don't know if you noticed, but it's closer to my size. It's still too large, but this is around what I wear. I'm trying to find my NAACP shirt. It's actually I have a whole bunch of community service shirts. Like, I don't know if you noticed, but that's basically all of what I wear. So. But yeah, so that is around where I am. Drop a comment or post anything if you want me to talk about anything to the right before I get into this very major political point. And I'm going to talk about it because it really bothers me. So if you don't want to hear about politics, or if you don't want to hear about what's currently really bothering me, and you're done with the keto thing, this is the time to exit. This is the time to leave. This is because the next few things I'm going to talk about, I have a real big problem with, and I think that we need to start waking up. So I'm going to give you like a good 2. I don't know. You can leave now or whatever, but I don't know. I'm thinking about doing this portion of the segment maybe shirtless. Drop a like if you want me to do it shirtless. Someone did. Someone gave me a like. I appreciate it. So I'm gonna go ahead and get into the next portion of what I want to talk about. What is going on in America where we have completely forgotten that we're free citizens? Not only are we free citizens, but government agents are also free citizens. Our law enforcement and police officers, they are also free citizens. Okay, now let's talk about something real quick. In California, they are choosing not to enforce mask laws, mask mandates. The consequence of not enforcing mask mandates directly affects human life. Isn't that serious? I mean, I was very taken back. Like, when I turned on the news and the sheriff said that, you know, we're choosing not to enforce mask mandates. Now, in my head, I wasn't mad at the fact that they weren't going to do mask mandates. But as an African American male who has been under the threat of losing my life over nothing, over, you know, if my friends are smoking weed, are they going to get their whole house raided, right? Or here's my story time for you. During this general election, guess what I was doing? I was outside, literally with pieces of paper, flyers, telling people where they could go and early vote. I was going up and down Jonesboro Road in the intersection where those train tracks are. This is in Clayton County, Georgia. And I was walking up and down the street, and a police officer, I'm not sure, she had a really strong accent. It had to be very either Russian, Bulgarian, Polish, or something like that, something East European. So I'm just going down the street saying, I have early voting information, early polling information. She stops me in the middle of the street. No, I'm on the sidewalk. Okay, there's a sidewalk that runs along the train tracks. And I was on the sidewalk just walking up and down to anyone who would hear me, asking to pass out literature. And the lady stopped her cop car in front of me. Now note, as an African American male in America, my anxiety levels are now going through the roof, right? I'm like, oh shoot, this might escalate into something pretty serious. But you know, I can handle myself very well. Why? Because I actually have a lot of friends in law enforcement. Yes, I actually, as a black male, have a lot of I have white police officers who are my friends. I have African American police officers who are my friends. And we talk, you know, especially me as a young man growing up around them. They mentored me, and I still have these same these same Caucasian and African American police officers as my trusted and dear associates. So she stops me and she says, you can't be here. You can't be here. You need to move, right? And I'm like, okay, and I simply say, okay, I'm just I'm on the sidewalk. Just tell me where I need to move so that I can be compliant. This lady got so angry and she gets really upset. Like, and I see her like put her hands like towards her waist and the door. And I say, excuse me, ma'am, I'm not trying to be rude. I just want to know so that I don't break the law in the future. I just need to understand where you're coming from. So I'm having to de-escalate the officer. So she goes on to say, you can't do this. You're in the middle of the street. You're in the middle of the street. Now, no, I'm on the sidewalk. Right? So I say, okay, ma'am, I just wanted to know like exactly where was an appropriate place for me to stay. I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here and move on my way. I had to leave because this lady was intimidating me. And as an African American male, I had no witnesses around. It would have just been a whole cell phone camera video. So I felt very intimidated. So I left. Meanwhile, California chooses not to enforce mask mandates. So what this means is that law enforcement has always been very discretionary. It's up to their own biases and own discretion of how they want to enforce the law. Doesn't that ring a little strange? Isn't that a little wrong? So now it puts that same situation that I ran into in October, late in October, it puts it in a completely different situation now. Because now I can look back and say that officer didn't have to enforce that rule. She didn't have to enforce me standing on the side. I'm going to be honest with you. I was not disobeying any traffic laws. Whatever law she thought I was breaking, I wasn't breaking one because it was completely legal to stand on the sidewalk and shout. Okay? So it wasn't me disturbing the peace. It wasn't anything like that. It was just simply her not wanting me to be there, giving people early voting information. So when I found this out, it was nothing I could do. I actually went back and went to the NAACP. I was wanting to know what was going on. It was a whole problem. But don't think for 1 second that this is my last story time. No. Because I have one that was from a Caucasian officer, but I got one from a black one. So on election day, do you know that there are a lot of different, and this is how I can attest to voter security, because do you not know that not just the NAACP, but there's a lot of other people out here monitoring the elections. What was I doing on election day? I was driving precinct to precinct, and I was asking for the vote count that they had at their precinct. We gathered up all of the vote counts by the hour, every hour. And we sat and we made sure that we knew exactly how many ballots had been cast. And we knew on election day and we knew exactly how many provisional ballots there were. So we knew where the bodies were. We knew where everything was. So we were like, okay, so um, so all this like voter fraud stuff like that is it's kind of funny to me because um, people don't know that you can openly request the vote count on election day. You can literally, if you found any kind of voter fraud or voter security or any kind of breach in security, um, you can challenge the election. You can challenge the whole precinct right there and at that moment. I go to one precinct over by the American Methodist Church. It's off of Riverdale. And I get there, and the police officer, I simply ask for the vote count. I go to the supervisor and I say, hey, excuse me, ma'am. I need the vote count. And I just want to know how many cast ballots you have and how many provisionals you have. I stand over and I wait for the side for her to come. She called the police. Okay, and this is a black police officer who comes up to me. And she says, excuse me, sir, I don't believe who you say you were. So I'm gonna have to ask you to leave. And she has this smile, seriously, like this, like she's being polite. And this is what I like to call violence under the guise of civility, right? I want to be civil and violent at the same time. That's how Americans work. And I don't particularly agree with it. I don't like it. So I simply asked, like, I've never stated who I was. So under the guise and the premise of what you just said, it's false. So why do I need to leave? Then she comes up with another excuse. She says, you're not with anyone and you can't simply just ask these questions. I said, ma'am, yes, I can. Any private citizen can ask what the vote count is. She says, well, I'm going to need you to leave. And, she's trying this, there's two types of smiles. There's one for happiness and then there's one out of violence. And, and I'm just simply saying, well, ma'am, I'm not going to argue with you because in the way she was motioning towards me, I was like, okay, I'm going to leave, but you're completely in the wrong. There was an attorney right outside. And I told her what happened, but nothing happened. And I told, we had to, in the NAACP, we actually have lawyers too that we had to cross-reference. So we put the incident over there and went from there. But of course I wasn't about to go back and get the vote count over there. Why? Because I'm not trying to get arrested. And I had all these other districts and all these other precincts I had to go to. But the case in point was the law is discretionary. When the sheriff is setting the prioritizations for certain things, where was this in their priorities? I want to ask you a question. Where was this in their priorities? Why was this their priority? Why was I escorted off the premises for simply asking what the vote count was? But they can choose not to enforce law mandates, mask mandates. They can simply pick and choose those battles. So they could have picked and chose this battle. So they were okay with escorting private citizens and asking from asking what the vote count was, what all this stuff was, the ballots and stuff like that. But we're choosing to enforce the secrecy, the less transparent election, and then choosing to turn our backs when someone is not using a mask. And this causes death. This causes accuracy in our elections. So it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So the grand old party is on drugs. And our laws here in the United States of America, they have to change. Our stance on freedom is not very welcoming, and it doesn't make a lot of sense. We have freedom when it comes to wearing your masks, but you don't have freedom when it comes to uh, you don't have freedom when it comes to leaving your yard untidy. Ooh, thank you. That's my bag. But you don't have freedom to leave your grass uncut. I mean, even if you don't take down the trash on your yard, the garbage people will actually send you a fine to your house, right? We don't have the freedom to go 5 miles over the speed limit, but we suddenly have the freedom to cause death and despair wherever we are. I just watched a video where this lady was, she was flaunting that she didn't have a mask on and blah, blah, blah. No one ever stops me for not having a mask on and blah, 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 blah. That same lady lost her entire family. She lost her auntie. She lost her uncle. She lost her grandpa. She found out, oh, my auntie's on a ventilator. Update, she's dead. Now, those are the laws that we can turn our back on. But when it comes from someone just smoking a little weed down the street, or when it comes to someone out here spreading voter education, these are the priorities that we focus on. This is where the biases are. This is why we're upset. A lot of us are not out here causing trouble like I guess everyone would like to believe. And it's very unfair. It makes me realize that, I mean, we have a lot of work to do as our country. A lot of work to do. When I can't do community service for my community, and you can allow others to simply disregard the rules whenever they feel like it, or the biases and things like that are geared for them and not us, there's a fundamental problem. There is a fundamental problem that we have to address. So that's the end of my story time. This is getting to be the end of the stream. Leave a like if you liked what I said. Oh, and here's my body one more time. Yes, this is a 175-pound body. I would angle the camera down. Pull up my pants a little bit. I want you to get a whole show. But yes, this is where I'm at. And I'm not even holding in my stomach. This is actually where my stomach is. I was 275 pounds. And now I'm 175 pounds. It's been eye-opening. A humbling journey. And I want to pledge the rest of my life to be healthy. And as American citizens, you would not want all of this work to go to waste because of biases in our justice system. The laws that we're choosing to enforce are unfair and biased. And it actually is depending on each officer's perception. The famous line that I don't write the law, I just have to enforce it. It's incorrect now. It's actually incorrect. They actually do have a choice in which they can enforce. They are not choosing to enforce mask mandates. So it must stand to reason that they have a choice in what they would like to enforce. So, lastly, we have to have a call to action and do more about these problems and come face to face with this unfair justice system. We have to do more as a country. We have to say something, speak something. We have to do more. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for joining my stream. I'm very humbled. Thank you so much. Subscribe if you liked it, and I will see you in my next stream.